Hi, we're Laura and Stu. We've spent the last few months up to our necks in DIY as we got our 36-foot sailboat Delfino ready for full-time cruising. Now the time has finally come to pack up our lives on land and move aboard. Moving is stressful at the best of times, let alone when you're moving your lives onto a small sailboat. It felt like for weeks all I could think about was, will it all fit? I was constantly worrying whether we'd be able to get everything into our hired van, whether our storage unit was big enough for all our belongings, and most of all, whether we'd be able to fit everything that was coming with us onto the boat.
See you later, Big Blue. We'll be back.
The short-term practical worries meant that I didn't have time to think too much about the more difficult aspects of moving away from friends and family until it was time to say goodbye. We knew we'd see them all again, but not knowing when that might be was my first taste of the uncertainty that comes with the cruising lifestyle, and it was harder than I expected. But although this period was tough, we're glad it was short. We were both keen to rip the band-aid off and start our cruising adventure. We'd had enough time to plan, and now was the time to do. I was really looking forward to provisioning the boat. Maybe I watched too much Supermarket Sweep as a child, maybe I just really wanted an excuse for a massive food shop, but despite 2 slight mishaps in Tesco, it was still a highlight of the week. I've since read advice for moving onto a sailboat that suggests you spend a month at the dock, then a month at anchor near the dock, then attempt some day sails before setting off to more far-flung places. We gave ourselves less than a week to get all our stuff on board, unpacked and provisioned before we untied the lines and headed out. At this point, my will it fit worrying kicked up a notch. As well as trying to find a space for all our belongings, I was now trying to find a space for all our belongings where they would fit. It turns out that no 2 cupboards are the same size on Delfino, so we had some trade-offs to make between where things could logically go and where they could actually fit. Then finally, everything was just about put away, and it was time to go.
Holy shnikes. Here we go. Finally leaving. Feels pretty good. We're just passing Cowes on the Isle of Wight. We're further than we've ever been on Delfino, which is pretty exciting. I left Chichester Marina today. Been a hectic, stressful couple of weeks, but finally off, it feels great. It's good.
I don't think we could have handled getting the sails out that day, so luckily for us there wasn't much wind and we motored around the Isle of Wight before anchoring in Thorness Bay for the night.
What are you doing?
Making our first dinner on anchor. We are having a very gourmet dinner of some pre-made gnocchi and some courgettes. And maybe some pesto.
Go on, Laura. What have you made?
I have made gnocchi. I feel like I'm a master chef. I have not made the actual gnocchi, but gnocchi filled with mozzarella and tomatoes, with pesto, capers, herbs and courgettes and some parmesan.
Nom.
By complete coincidence, our first full day of cruising was also our first wedding anniversary. I was allowed a solid hour of enjoying our beautiful new surroundings before Stu's coffee kicked in and we got to work yet again.
So we've been replacing the manual bilge pipe today, which is pain in the ass, but work in paradise, as they say. There's the end of it there. Here's a very fed up looking Laura.
Happy anniversary to me.
Surrounded by crap.
And you can see the other side of the manual bilge pipe come out in there, which is good. Ready to get connected. But most importantly, whilst all this is happening, some absolutely beautiful old boats sailing down the Solent.
After a few hours of marital bliss, we moved around the corner into Newtown River for the night, the Isle of Wight's only nature reserve. We enjoyed watching the hundreds of birds and had a great night's sleep on a mooring board to prepare us for what was about to happen. Let's go sailing.
Laura's got her headband on. That's how you know she means business. Falmouth, step one. Super exciting.
The reason we were trying so hard to get our manual bilge pump operational was because we were about to embark on our longest sail yet, 30 hours and 150 nautical miles from the Isle of Wight to Falmouth. We are 8 hours into our first passage. We've just rounded Portland Bill, which we are very grateful was uneventful. Got a little bit rolly, but really not that bad at all. And given it's been basically a flat calm out here up until that point, even the fact that we saw some waves at least broke up the journey a little bit. We just had our first radio message in French. That was very exciting. So we have actually moved, just sort of starting to settle in for the night. We've both just put warmer clothes on. Got my own to me foul weather gear on, thanks Linda, and we are settling into what might be quite a wet night.
Very adventurous.
I know, it's the most adventurous thing I've done while mostly sitting down.
Yeah, I actually managed to work a little bit.
You worked, yeah. I've sat in this seat for 8 hours.
Very exciting. We both napped.
We have both napped.
Something we both did.
Yeah. So we're
Right.
just enjoying the journey.
Laura did an update, so I want to do an update too. We didn't think about the tide times for Portland Bill. We had the tide against us for ages, and we more or less winged it and got pretty lucky, which is good. We got around Portland Bill with the tide going the right way, but yeah, next time we should do some passage planning.
We ticked off a lot of firsts on this passage. My first overnight and Stu's first short-handed passage. We sailed past some pretty iconic parts of England for the first time and saw our first dolphins from Delfino. How's the passage gone?
Yeah, it's been okay. I don't think either of us slept as much as we were hoping to, but it's been pretty uneventful, I think. We had a little bit of everything. We had some rain, had some dodging of fishing boats late at night, had a bit of wind, had some good sailing, had a lot of motoring, had no wind. A good first experience. I think both of us found it alright to handle.
But despite trying our best to celebrate our wins, after not sleeping much for 30 hours, we were both extremely grateful to pull into the Helford River for a much needed nap, some tasty dinner, and a very long night of sleep.